Managing blood sugar effectively is becoming a bigger and bigger concern for many of us, especially with diabetes on the rise. What we eat really does play a huge role, and believe it or not, the protein sources we choose can make a significant difference to our glucose levels. That's where plant-based proteins come in. They offer some truly remarkable benefits for blood sugar control, giving us a wholesome way to look after our health. Top 6 plant-based proteins for blood sugar management. 1. Lentils. First up, let's talk about lentils. These little guys are absolute nutritional powerhouses. They're packed with plant-based protein, good complex carbohydrates, and very little fat. Now, what makes them particularly great for blood sugar management is their exceptional fiber content. We're talking especially about soluble fiber, which cleverly forms a sort of gel-like substance in our digestive tract. What does this do? Well, it slows down digestion and how quickly sugars are absorbed into the bloodstream. This fantastic combination of high fiber and protein in lentils means we get a lower glycemic response after we eat. Unlike those refined carbs that can send our blood sugar on a roller coaster, lentils give us a much more gradual release of glucose. This is super helpful for maintaining stable energy levels and avoiding those tricky highs and lows, especially if you're managing diabetes. And one of the best things about lentils? They're incredibly versatile in the kitchen. They just soak up flavors from spices and other ingredients, which makes them a brilliant addition to so many dishes. Think hearty soups, flavorful stews, vibrant salads, or you can even use them as a base for plant-based burgers and meatloaf. The possibilities are pretty much endless. Now, to get the best benefits, a serving size of about half a cup to 1 cup of cooked lentils is generally what's recommended, and they're really simple to prepare. Most types just need a quick rinse and then you simmer them in water or broth until they're tender, usually about 20 to 30 minutes. And good news, for the common brown or green lentils, there's no soaking required. It's not just talk either. Research consistently backs up the blood sugar benefits of lentils. Studies have shown that eating lentils regularly can improve glycemic control, boost insulin sensitivity, and even lower the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Their rich nutrient profile really contributes to our overall metabolic health, making them a truly excellent choice to add to our meals. 2. Chickpeas. Next on our list are chickpeas, which you might also know as garbanzo beans. These are another fantastic plant-based protein, and they're really celebrated for their impressive fiber and protein content. Just a single cup of cooked chickpeas gives you a good chunk of your daily needs for both of these nutrients. And they work together beautifully to help you feel full and support steady energy levels all day long. This dynamic duo of protein and fiber in chickpeas is key because it really helps slow down digestion. This slower process means that carbohydrates are broken down and glucose enters our bloodstream at a much more controlled pace. This is fantastic for preventing those unwanted blood sugar spikes after meals, which can be a real issue if you have diabetes or prediabetes. And just like lentils, chickpeas are super versatile in the kitchen. They're the star ingredient in hummus, which is such a delicious and healthy dip. You can also toss them into salads for extra texture and protein, add them to hearty curries and stews, or even roast them with some spices for a crunchy, satisfying snack that's way healthier than a lot of processed options out there. A big plus for chickpeas is how convenient they are and their long shelf life. Canned chickpeas are ready to go after just a quick rinse, which makes them perfect for whipping up quick meals. If you prefer dried chickpeas, they do need soaking and a bit longer to cook, but they're a really economical option, and you can cook them in batches to use all week. Now, specifically for those of you managing insulin resistance, chickpeas offer some really tangible benefits. Their resistant starch and high fiber content can actually improve insulin sensitivity. This means your body can use insulin more effectively to manage blood sugar. So including chickpeas in your diet regularly can be a really proactive step towards better metabolic health. 3. Tofu and tempeh. All right, let's move on to tofu and tempeh. Tofu, which is made from condensed soy milk pressed into those familiar solid white blocks, and tempeh, a fermented soybean product that has a firmer texture and a nuttier flavor, are both excellent soy-based proteins. Tofu is well loved for its soft, adaptable texture, but tempeh actually offers a bit more protein and fiber because it's made from whole soybeans and goes through a fermentation process. Plus, that fermentation gives it beneficial probiotics. A really significant health advantage of both tofu and tempeh is their low saturated fat content. This is especially true when you compare them to many animal-based proteins. And we know that diets lower in saturated fat are linked with better heart health. That's a super important consideration for anyone with diabetes, as they often have an increased risk of heart issues. What's more, both tofu and tempeh can be really helpful for weight management. Their protein content helps you feel fuller for longer, which can lead to eating fewer calories overall. And maintaining a healthy weight is absolutely a cornerstone of managing diabetes effectively, since excess body fat can make insulin resistance worse. Now, to really get the best out of tofu and tempeh, how you prepare them is key. Tofu really benefits from being pressed to get rid of excess water. This helps it soak up marinades much better and get a nice crispy texture if you're baking or frying it. Tempeh, on the other hand, can be steamed for a few minutes to mellow out its flavor a bit before you marinate it and then grill, bake, or pan fry it. And here's something interesting. The isoflavones found in soy products like tofu and tempeh have actually been studied for their potential benefits in regulating blood glucose. Some research suggests these compounds can improve insulin sensitivity and help with glucose metabolism. So these versatile proteins can be a really valuable addition to a diet that's focused on managing blood sugar. 4. Edamame. Next up, we have edamame. These are young green soybeans, usually served in their pods, and they are a fantastic source of complete plant-based protein. That means they give us all 9 essential amino acids our bodies need. Plus, they're rich in dietary fiber, which helps us feel full and supports digestive health, both really important when you're keeping an eye on blood sugar. The nutrient makeup of edamame, especially its mix of protein, fiber, and healthy fats, can be really beneficial if you're dealing with insulin resistance. These components work together to slow down how quickly glucose is absorbed and improve how our body responds to insulin. This is fundamental if you have type 2 diabetes or are at risk. And edamame gets top marks for convenience. You can find it easily in most grocery stores, usually in the frozen aisle, either still in the pods or already shelled. Prepping them is a breeze. Just steam, boil, or microwave them for a few minutes until they're tender. They make a fantastic quick snack, a nutritious appetizer, or a great way to boost the protein in salads and stir-fries. But it's not just about protein and fiber. Edamame is also packed with essential micronutrients that support our overall metabolic health. We're talking about a good source of folate, vitamin K, magnesium, and potassium. Magnesium, for example, plays a direct role in how our body metabolizes glucose and how insulin works, which makes edamame even more valuable for blood sugar control. Research also supports including edamame and other soy foods in diets for people with diabetes. Studies have shown that eating them regularly might help improve glycemic control and lead to a better lipid profile. Plus, their low glycemic index means they have a minimal impact on blood sugar levels after you eat them. 5. Quinoa. Let's talk about quinoa now. Quinoa really stands out in the plant world because it's a complete protein. That means it provides all 9 of those essential amino acids that our bodies can't make themselves. This makes it an excellent protein source, particularly if you're following a vegetarian or vegan diet, and it's a truly valuable player when it comes to managing blood sugar. One of the really big benefits of quinoa for blood sugar management is its relatively low glycemic index, or GI. You see, foods with a low GI are digested and absorbed more slowly. This leads to a more gradual and lower rise in your blood glucose levels, especially when you compare it to high GI foods like white rice or white bread. Quinoa is also packed with dietary fiber, and this adds even more to its blood sugar-friendly qualities. That fiber content slows down how quickly sugar gets into your bloodstream, helps you feel full, and supports good digestive health. This fantastic combination of protein and fiber makes quinoa a really satisfying and nourishing grain. And it's so versatile, which makes quinoa super easy to add to any meal plan. You can serve it as a fluffy side dish instead of rice, use it as a base for hearty salads, cook it into a nutritious breakfast porridge, or even add it to soups and stews for extra texture and protein. It has a lovely mild nutty flavor that goes well with all sorts of ingredients. Now, if you compare quinoa to refined grains like white pasta or white bread, quinoa offers a much better nutritional profile for blood sugar control. Those refined grains have been stripped of their fiber and many of their nutrients, which means they can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar. Quinoa, on the other hand, gives you sustained energy and helps keep your glucose levels more stable. 6. Split peas. Last but certainly not least on our list are split peas. Whether you prefer green or yellow, split peas are a type of field pea that's been dried, peeled, and split in half. Their nutritional makeup is really impressive. They boast high levels of plant-based protein, complex carbs, and an exceptionally rich fiber content. All of this makes them a fantastic food for managing blood sugar. The abundant fiber in split peas, especially that soluble fiber we talked about earlier, offers some significant digestive benefits. It helps slow down how quickly glucose is absorbed, which prevents those sharp spikes in blood sugar after you eat. This fiber is also great for promoting regular bowel movements and contributing to a healthy gut. And thanks to their high protein and fiber content, split peas have a really profound impact on how full you feel. They help you stay satisfied for longer, which can mean you eat fewer calories overall, and that can really help with weight management. As we know, maintaining a healthy weight is so critical for effectively managing diabetes and improving insulin sensitivity. When you think of split peas, you probably think of split pea soup, right? It's such a comforting and nutritious dish, but they can also be cooked into Indian dals, blended into purees or dips, or added to stews for an extra boost of protein and fiber. If you soak them for a few hours before cooking, it can cut down on the cooking time, though it's not absolutely essential. And the science backs this up too. Evidence from nutritional research supports the role of legumes, like split peas, in helping to regulate blood sugar. Their low glycemic index and high fiber content are well recognized for their positive effects on blood glucose levels after meals and on overall glycemic control. This makes them an absolutely excellent choice for a diabetic-friendly diet. Why plant-based proteins work for blood sugar management? So why exactly do plant-based proteins work so well for blood sugar management? Well, for starters, plant-based proteins generally have a lower saturated fat content compared to many animal proteins, and we know that diets high in saturated fat can actually make insulin resistance worse. So by choosing these leaner plant sources, we can help improve our body's ability to use insulin effectively. Another key reason is their fiber content. A real hallmark of plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, and whole grains is that they're significantly higher in fiber. Fiber, especially that soluble kind, slows down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates. This leads to a much more gradual rise in blood sugar levels, instead of those sharp spikes. Plus, these plant foods are also rich in something called phytonutrients. These are natural compounds that have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. What does that mean for us? Well, these phytonutrients can help protect our cells from damage and support our overall metabolic health, which in turn contributes indirectly to better blood sugar control. Interestingly, eating plant-based proteins, especially those rich in fiber, can also have a positive influence on our gut microbiome. That's all the friendly bacteria living in our gut. A healthy and diverse gut microbiota is being increasingly linked to improved glucose metabolism, reduced inflammation, and better insulin sensitivity. So it's all connected. And one more thing. Plant-based proteins often play a big role in effective weight management. As we've mentioned, their high fiber and protein content helps you feel fuller for longer. This can lead to eating fewer calories overall, which is a really key strategy for both preventing and managing type 2 diabetes. Incorporating plant-based proteins into your diet. So how can you start incorporating more of these fantastic plant-based proteins into your diet? A great way to begin is to gradually increase your intake. Maybe start with 1 or 2 plant-based meals a week. You could try a meatless Monday featuring a delicious lentil soup or a flavorful chickpea curry. Another easy tip is to try swapping out half the ground meat in a recipe with cooked lentils or crumbled tofu. It's a simple way to ease into the change. To wrap things up, the 6 plant-based proteins we've talked about today, lentils, chickpeas, tofu and tempeh, edamame, quinoa, and split peas, all offer some really powerful benefits when it comes to managing blood sugar. By bringing these nutrient-dense foods into your diet, you can work towards more stable glucose levels, improved insulin sensitivity, and ultimately, better overall health outcomes. We'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences with these proteins, or if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more health tips. And if you found this useful, please do share it with others who might benefit from learning about these amazing foods for blood sugar management.